My name is Jason Tooker, and let me just show and introduce you to Steve and Corey. These guys I met just about a year ago, and ultimately they become a pretty power user of Benetics. We're also both part of the organization here, ABC. I think you guys have been a part of ABC quite some time, right?
Yeah, so over 30 years. We were one of the first GCs to be part of ABC.
Awesome. So Steve Ball and Corey Hale. Corey is the president. Steve is the head of operations there. I'm Jason Tooker. I'm from Benetics. I've been in technology and software for 24 years. This is my fourth startup kind of in a row over the last decade. And this is the one I'm the most proud of, the most excited about. We've had two of the three previous were really good. But this one has taken off. It's a company that's out of Europe, where they're actually out of Switzerland, and I'm responsible for go-to-market here in the States. EJH Construction came on board just under a year ago and really started going hard with it maybe 6 months ago. Is that about right?
Yeah, that's about right.
Yep.
Why don't you just give us a little background on like what you guys do, first of all, and really, how is it that Benetics is being used there?
So we have been in business for 50 years. We are primarily a general contractor. That being said, we do self-perform some of our work, while we also GC a lot of it. We do residential and commercial work. We do commercial work nationwide. And we also do mitigation and restoration work. So we're kind of one-stop shop for anything that's a building. And like I said, we've been around for 50 years. So we've tried a lot of programs to help keep things organized.
Awesome. Anything on your end, Steve?
Yeah, no, in the time that Corey mentioned, we do construction, self-performing, residential and commercial, and mitigation. So in our search for a applicable software that would help us manage our business from the field and the office, you can see some of the challenges that some of the softwares we found were residential focused, some were mitigation focused, and it was just a really tough run for us to try to find something that was suitable for all aspects of our business, that was flexible enough. And it was a challenge for many years.
And a big one was the field staff, getting field staff to buy into the software also, where the learning curve was such that they would be able to and willing to and interested in doing it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm curious, just how big is the company, or how many projects do you have going at any given time?
I would say probably 200 to 300 any time.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And whether it's
But we yeah, go ahead.
No, it could be in between bid status, WIP status, which is a work in progress, and then also punch list, jobs that are closing out. So between those three categories, and then even approved jobs that are scheduled out, because we do a lot of hospitality work. So in order to fit into the commercial setting with a hospitality with a hotel, we have to fit into their schedules. So a lot of times we'll get approved work that's months out. So between all three aspects or four phases of our projects, it could be upwards of 200 projects at a time.
And I should mention that the scale of our projects will do something as small as we just did a pipe leak today, one pipe leak in a hotel or a house, up to multi-million-dollar new builds and renovations for hotels. So
all across the country, not just here in Michigan.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay. And then do you use subs on almost all projects as well? I know you mentioned the self-performing side of it, but.
So we do have a balance. We do rely heavily on our subcontract relationships. Being in business for 50 years, they've been an essential part of our growth. But we also found that having the ability to self-perform gives us the flexibility. So we have in-house carpenters that vary in, skill sets, everything from rough framing to finish work, plumbing, flooring, and electrical. So while we are a GC who subs out and has subcontract relationships, we also self-perform. So it's important for us to have that flexibility within the program to be able to manage both.
Cool. Okay. And where did it start with Benetics? Like we've talked a little bit in the past, and obviously we've got a pretty good relationship at this point, but was it from a task side of things, or was it from, we talk about blueprints, we talk about.
Yeah. So before she can tell the story, but for everybody that's listening, if you've been to a level of frustration with trying to organize your projects between communication, paperwork, folders, share drives, emails, text messages, photos that you have to find on, this project manager's phone, and this notebook. You have to find this guy's notebook. When you're at a level of frustration where you just can't find yourself organized enough to manage your business, try not to get to that point before you start using Benetics. Because really, primarily, that's where we were. We were at a point where we were using share drives and cloud, cloud drives,
yeah,
and all the different things that, Dropbox, SharePoint, Google Share. And we were using all of these at the same time.
And not well.
And not well.
Well.
Text messages, emails, and
phone calls. He said, she said.
Outlook for scheduling and follow-ups and tasks, assigning tasks. And so we got to that point where it was just so much and so robust that we were frustrated.
Yeah, that's where this really had started. When you talk about the texts and the WhatsApp, like this started as kind of just a super simple app, instead of using WhatsApp and then trying to put photos to attachments on emails. And it's really morphed into something quite a bit greater over the course of 3 years. And we're still, I think you see every couple of weeks a new release with new things coming out. And we're going to get into some of those details. But the voice AI, are you using the voice AI? I know you guys are more in the office, but are the field teams using that at all?
Yeah,
they are.
Absolutely. No, it's been one of the things that's been implemented that has allowed our field staff to engage more. Because the simplicity of being able to talk to the phone instead of trying to type in, we use a daily field report on every job every day. So our field leads or our project superintendents, foremen, they'll have to type into a field report. And we used to have to do written reports that would have to be scanned, taking pictures, sent in emails. Now we have a reporting process within Benetics that they can talk into their phone, all the fields that are prerequisites that are identified. Jason, you've helped us develop those reports, and they just talk into it.
It's easy.
Simple.
Okay.
And that's been a big part of allowing our field staff to engage. Just the simplicity of being able to talk to it through an AI generated platform. It's almost like having your own personal assistant, and
That's
it
great.
fills the report out for you.
And that's what I want to show, right? So sorry, Corey, what?
No, I was just going to say that's a big thing. Steve talked about the frustration with managing from the office and feeling like you're always dropping the ball or fearful that you're going to. The second part of that was we were feeling like we were fearful of dropping the ball in the field. Like, what was going on? Did we have a good grasp of what was going on directly in the field? Once we got into Benetics and really just, took the jump finally to do it, it was so easy. And our field staff, they do it. They complete the forms. We feel like it's that easy.
It's less cumbersome, and it helps support the communication between the field and the office. There's a huge breakdown with us from that aspect, and then allowing them the simplicity of it, the user friendliness of it from the field and the office, allow them to engage. And once you allow your field staff, if you make their job easier,
that's
it, because we were chasing these things all the time.
And we're trying to enforce.
Before we had Benetics, we were always chasing. Where's the daily field report? Did somebody get in? It would be like a week later. Where are all of them? Now they engage in it so readily that it's daily. They just do it.
Adoption is one of the most important things. Again, with all the software I've worked with, getting people to use it is the scariest part, I think, to them, and they don't like change, whether it's simple or not. You just like, I've got my routines and I do what I do. But I think, to your point, like if that frustration gets to a level of, all right, I'll try something, and then when they try it, it has to be easy, and all of a sudden they're like, wait, this is saving me time. I mean, again, Benetics is not something that is a huge, Procore beast, which Procore is great, but it's built for really large GCs and has a lot going on. This is something that is really built for just any projects, right, that are just kind of quick hitters, and you need to be able to get in there and get organized and have your team use it. The adoption piece has to actually speed up their process, and that's what we've seen. That's why it took off, because then other teams started seeing it used from a lot of subs, and they're like, what are you guys using over there? And that's when it took off. We're 450 plus companies using it. I've gotten it now going here in the last year in the States, and we just launched in Canada. So hopefully we can get that same traction with you guys, kind of being a voice piece for us a little bit here now as well. But let me just jump into kind of that first magic piece that we put in there with the voice AI. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, And ultimately, this is showing you both the phone version, the mobile version, that's on the left side. And on the right-hand side is what we've got for the web, right? And Steve, you can talk to this a little bit later because you work on the web side of it and you're like, look, this thing's really easy to use. And we focus first on the mobile because we knew that our user base was going to be the team in the field and it had to work quickly. It had to be big enough to see things. So that's where we focused for probably the first year. And then we started to kind of make sure everything matched up over on the website. So you're always in sync. It's always in real time in the cloud. And so I'm just actually on a drawing that's uploaded on my phone, but I'm going to back out of there a second. And I'm going to look across the top here. I've got tasks, plans, reports, documents, and photos. And you see the same thing on the website, but ultimately for that usage that you're talking about and the adoption and the part that's been hard for people to kind of overcome. I've learned, I'm new to construction, long time on the software side, but it sounds like really after COVID, people tried to move towards tablets and tried to do this photo thing. And like the talk to text was just not good. And it's come so far. So if you're out there and you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, we've tried something like that, I guarantee you haven't. This is different. It is more advanced. It was a little too early 5-6 years ago to try and pull off what we've now pulled off. So in this case, I'm in a project called Woodward Commerce Center renovation, right? Just a made up thing here. And you put in the address and you add any of your team members that you want on it. So it's really easy to add team members. You can just click on the little people icon up there at the top. I've got Steve added to this one. Again, you could do that back in the office as well. You come to members and you can go in and add anyone. And this means they can be on your team, like in your organization. But if it's just a one-off where it's somebody that you need to pull in, an engineer, or it's a sub that you just need to pull in one of their employees for something, that can be done here quite easily. If I want to create a task, right, a lot of times you can just create a task, take a picture, but sometimes you want to do it from a location like on the plan because you're standing there and you're like, all right, we got an issue here. And in this case, let's go to like this northwest corner and we're doing a renovation. I just tap my finger on it and I'm going to say create task. And this is where that magic kind of starts to happen. This is what it sounds like your team is doing. I'm going to click on this little microphone, right? So we're going to do the same thing in a little bit from the report side of things. But in this case, I'm actually out in the field and I've got to create an RFI for an issue that we're having with the drywall. We had taken off the panels like we thought we were going to do. And I've got some panels still to take off, but then we were just going to repaint it, but it looks like water damage. So I'm actually assigning this to Steve because I need to know what we need to do urgently here. Are we to take all this drywall out? Let me send over a photo. If you could get back to me today on this, that would be great. We may have to bring in somebody else, but I'm just looking for some guidance here. So you just talk to it like in a just normal voice. You can make mistakes. You can change, if you have a number of units, you can change the measurements. You can change whatever you need to change. Yeah. And it's smart enough to like listen to you actively and make those changes. And you see it instantly gave you a nice summary of what I need. I'm out in the field. It's marked as urgent and RFI, and which is important. As you see over here on the right-hand side, once I actually finish creating it, you can sort by those and label those. And I don't know if you guys are using the labels, but that's a powerful tool once you get into it to really pull from. And then the other thing I can do is just like add a photo right here. You can mark these up as well. Like here's an issue. In this case, we're doing the whole drywall. And as soon as I click that little checkbox in the top right corner, again, out in the field, it's created back in the office. And Steve's assigned to this too. So he's also getting a notification and we can talk a little bit more about that as well. But is this something that you guys do? Is this used for tasks right now?
Yes. Task is an essential part of our organization. It's huge. It allows us, what we were doing before is sending emails, setting calendar reminders, having follow-ups and accountability to tasks. This allows us to simply, to your point, talk in a task and quickly. We're not only assigning tasks to the field, but we're also assigning tasks internally in the office so that we can track, invoicing needs, contracts being sent out, change orders that are needed. And so we're assigning tasks to our office staff as well. And to your point, the balance between the field application on the phone and the web version in the office, it's a really nice balance and it works really well. It's live, so it's accessible from anywhere. It's remote. And one of the things we had trouble with, you mentioned Procore, the complexity, and you'd think a large company like us, Procore would be a more inviting type of software, but the complexity, the training, the user-friendly aspect of it, it was just too complex.
Started it.
Yeah, we used it we tried using it for about 6 months, and we couldn't even get it trained into the field adequately enough to be efficient.
And I don't ever want to, Procore is a great program. It's just, we weren't even originally designed, for the GCs and to run complete project management like you guys are doing. We really are still focused on kind of the subcontractor trade side of things. It's just been great to see how you use it really from a GC level. And we have integrations, like Procore is not going away. We aren't trying to compete with Procore.
No.
But if you need a tool to get organized in the field and have better communication, that's again where we're focused. But I know you did try it and you're like, look, the learning curve is going to be ridiculous. With us, it sounds like you just kind of picked it up and went pretty quickly.
It was the learning curve, but also, like I said, we do very small projects as well. So it didn't work as well for that. So it's just a different program that didn't meet our needs, to your point. It's a great program, just didn't meet our needs in our smaller projects. This we jumped on and it was quick. I said, we got to a point where we had enough frustration. And I said to Steve, the next job that comes in, we're going to put it in Benetics and just run with it. And we're going to train ourselves. And it was, I think a week later, we said, let's get all the jobs in.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said, you've tried something like this. To be honest, after we got off our phone call yesterday, Jason, you and I had a brief meeting about today's meeting.
Yeah.
I walked through my office in 3 minutes and only about half my staff was here. And I asked them, hey, do you guys remember over the last couple of years, what software management programs we've tried? And just in 3 minutes, I got a list of 12 different software programs that we tried. So when Asana, Smartsheet, Sage Field Ops, Procore, House, Microsoft Project, Builder Trend, Dash, Dropbox, SharePoint. These are just some of the ones my project managers and my team shot out to me in a couple minutes. So when you say you've tried something, we've tried it. And, so the simplicity of the tasks, the assignments, the organization. I'm a field guy who in the office needs to be efficient because I'm an operations manager. So the ability to be able to be efficient with my guys in the field and have oversight without beating them over the head with a hammer for accountability. It's a huge benefit because they can simply adapt these tasks and these applications in their phone. Everything from uploading pictures to completing tasks, punch lists, and viewing field plans. That was another one. Having the documentation available at the palm of your hand that allows you to see the scope of work, the project expectations, the contracts, the photos of the job, and then putting the photos in as you need them. So, the balance between what you just showed, assigning a task, having it available on the computer and
and being able to talk it in.
And be able to talk it in.
I'm wondering, and I haven't asked you this before, but have you started to use like the export feature to PDF? Because everything here is internal, right? You've got everybody you need on your project, so they see this. But externally, you do have third parties that might need to see this. Do you use the PDF or any of the features there?
Yeah, so it's nice
to show that.
Yeah, you want me to show
it? Maybe you guys just talk to it a little bit more.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So we just created that task out in the field. What I'm talking about for everyone else is, again, up here from the phone, or if you're back in the office, you can do it. But you just click on those 3 dots and you can export this and create a PDF to send, again, to an owner, to a GC if you're a sub, or to somebody else that's not necessarily, in the software with you. They don't need to see everything, but it creates it on the phone that you can just text it or email it. Or if I'm back in the office here, I can open it up as well. And just like that, you've got a really concise. It's got the project, where it's located. You can upload your own logo on all your documents that you create. And then it gives you exactly what we just created. And again, these tasks can be RFIs, observations. They can be, extra work orders. I'll show you one of those in a second. They can be whatever you need them to be, honestly. But that is something that you guys use.
So yeah, Jason, actually last night, I had to have a certificate of satisfaction at the completion of an emergency job we did last night. It was midnight. The director of engineering wasn't on site at the property we were working on for a clogged drain. And at the completion of the job, his assistant, who was there at midnight, was able to sign off on the job right from the application on a certificate of satisfaction. The description of the job was in there. I talked it in through the AI feature, exported it to a PDF, and emailed it to the director of engineering within minutes. And if you later we can share that. But he saw on the report that you just demonstrated the job information, the description of work, pictures, as well as then the signed off signature from his assistant that indicated we completed the job to his satisfaction.
Okay, I didn't even know that, so that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
For everyone out there listening, you can also use the chat over on the right-hand side. There's a Q&A, or just type it right into the chat, and we'll try to get to those at the end. I think we're already a little behind time, but we'll keep moving here as quickly as possible. But a lot of good information. Again, it gets me excited to hear how much you use it and how much you like it. Do you feel there's actual time savings, right? I mean, like, I know you talk about it like holistically, but I'm curious if you've tried to like measure it at all.
And we haven't, no, I don't know if we've measured it, other than the fact that we don't know. I think we've talked now 6 months ago. We don't know how we were doing it before.
Well, yes.
I mean, if that
it's true. But when you talk about time savings, yes, it takes us less time on every job, but we're able to do so much more work is also what we've seen, to be honest, because we're able to manage more. So yes, it does save time, but it allows us to do more, and we've seen it in our profitability.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, have everything in one place.
It's huge.
Last night, again, was a perfect example. An emergency call, all the documentation, all the photos, all the tasks. I even assigned a task to my accountant right on the job site last night to invoice the job. And he got a notification and received it, invoiced it this morning. I did that all from the field within, 30 minutes, which before would have taken me hours of paperwork to come back to the office after the emergency and process all of that paperwork.
Okay.
It has also helped eliminate a lot of that. We used to use paper file folders, the old Manila folder, and that was like the Bible of every project.
Yeah.
And we had color coordinated Manila folders that would indicate what type of job it was. We've eliminated those.
That's awesome.
Everything's centrally located, all digital, and anybody can access it anywhere at any time. So from a time saving perspective, I can't even tell you.
All right, that's awesome. Let's talk reports, because I know that's a big part of what you guys have sent me, really good reports, and I'm able to create them hopefully quickly and get them back to you. But I think you've got probably 15 to 20 reports in here now just for your company, right?
That's correct.
This goes out to everyone. If you have, they're fairly simple forms. We don't do like full blown long contracts with a bunch of verbiage in there. Those you can upload into documents and you can see those contracts. But let's just talk reports. And what I mean by that, and I think this sounds like the example you were just giving from maybe even last night. Let me share the screen again here. So you go on to the report side of things, and you have the same type of technology that you can just talk into it out in the field. So if I want like the dailies, those are probably the most common thing that we get the use of, but also extra work orders. I'm going to click on an extra work order, and let's just kind of go on with the scenario. We were just talking about this drywall we were going to have to replace when it wasn't really in the original contract. So I'm just going to talk to it again by clicking on the microphone. And this is for customer, this is for the city of Royal Oak. And ultimately, we've got to redo, or we redid the whole northwest drywall, all the drywall in the room there. We ended up putting up 22 drywall sheets. These were the 10-foot panels. And I ended up spending 6.5 hours. No, I spent 8 hours on this. And Steve, how much time did you spend on it?
Yeah, I was on there about 3 hours.
3 hours for Steve Ball on that one as well. And we went through, we put up 22 10-foot panels, as well as 4 boxes of screws and 6 rolls of tape. So again, we can talk back and forth. You can kind of make mistakes, and it's listening to that. And you can even put this location-wise on there as well. You can do signatures on these if you need somebody to sign off, but it goes through and it fills it all out, right? It's got the 6 rolls of tape, There's the 4 screws. It even knows I said 10-foot pieces, drywall sheets. Let me just add, it did. And if you see that it doesn't have it, you can always just talk to it. And I actually worked on this myself, Jason Tooker, for 7.5 hours as well. So I did notice it didn't have mine on there, which is a little frustrating. I don't know. Do you see much of that, or is it usually pretty slick?
Pretty slick. Once in a while, you'll get a glitch, but easily editable. After, if you recognize there's an error, you can edit it pretty quickly. But there's glitches, but not often.
I'm going to add my signature as well. This could be a foreman. This could be a customer on site.
The on-site signature for approvals is important to us in our reports too, Jason. That's been a great addition to the reporting. We get on-site signatures and reports for change orders. Like you said, extra work orders, what you're doing. So to have the client contractor be able to sign an agreement right there, and then we send it back to the office and have our office create, the actual contract. But to have something that you can actually manage, we had big problems with that as far as efficiency and also lost revenue. You're always on the job doing additional work that sometimes the guys, because it's cumbersome and difficult to communicate, you do the work and you don't account for it.
Right.
And so having these on-site really quick reports that allow us to get, take a picture, get a quick signature, and then send it off to the office for a contract change. Not only is it simple and efficient, but it actually gets done, which is important. If it wasn't, before it wasn't getting done, we have lost revenue and change orders that are never applied.
All right. Real life example. I love it. So yeah, same type of thing, right? It gives you something that's really quick, like Steve's just describing. What are kind of other reports or the processes? I know you've sent over just in the last couple of weeks some vehicle maintenance.
Yeah.
Tell me about what's that process like?
We've actually used, you can set up jobs. And what we've decided to do is each one of our vehicles, we have a fleet of just under 25 vehicles, not including our trailers and dump trucks. And we set our fleet up as individual jobs to monitor and track maintenance.
Okay.
All the documents, repair documents can get centralized and uploaded. And maybe, Jason, you might be talking about sharing how you can upload all documents into the project.
Yep.
So we've utilized that as a way to manage our fleet as well. And one of the reports we use is what's the DOT. DOT requires that we have a daily vehicle inspection checklist, and we've implemented that right into Benetics, because you can go in there for a report. They talk it in every day. Yep, I have my fire extinguisher. I've checked all the tires. We have our all the lights work. We have our gas card is in the dashboard. We have our insurance information and registration is there.
That they can access if they get pulled over.
They'll talk it. Before, it was a tedious process. The DOT requirements were tedious. Our guys didn't do them. And again, it was just like pulling teeth to get your field staff when we're running 20 vehicles a day. But with these reports, not only can I monitor them, the guys are actually, again, doing them because they talk them in. And it's all itemized. AI does it for you, and it's logged. So,
that's another one.
Awesome.
The lead sheet is another report we use. We used to lose leads. You get a phone call, you forget to call somebody back. A guy in the field gets an opportunity that he doesn't tell you. We generate a lead sheet report right out of Benetics, and it allows you to talk all the customer information, the potential project scope, and it can be automatically uploaded and sent right to the office immediately. So it allows us to track those leads and then follow up. And we all know the most important job is the next one.
Right.
And you don't want to lose those opportunities.
So we did get a couple questions here. One says, do you use it for T&M hour tracking or for invoicing?
Yeah, actually we do both. We put hour tracking in our reports, our daily field reports, and then we have a please invoice form that we use. And the please invoice form is a combination of a documented invoicing report that allows our accounting department to be able to see not only the scope, the hours, the description of work, but all the dates and approval signatures without having to track down all the information.
And this is one we get a lot, and I'm curious to see how you answer another question. do you generate daily progress reports? Because one thing that we are working on is more of the progress, I would say, to give that kind of almost the green, yellow, red. And we don't really have that in there yet. But are you doing any workarounds? This is daily progress, even to share with others outside the company, different stakeholders.
Progress as far as project progress.
I assume that's what she means.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
daily
So
field
we
report.
use a daily field report that tells us daily status of percentage of complete. And what's nice, if I see that we're behind on a job, I can set a task, and then through the AI function, AI feature, which is it's like an AI agent. I can ask, can you please tell me, AI agent, how many tasks are due this week, or can you tell me the tasks that are due this week related to this project? And it will generate a report for me, telling me all the items that are needed to be done on that job that I've assigned tasks to as a result of reviewing my status reports from the daily field reports. Does that make
So
sense?
you're bringing up the agent, which is awesome. I'm sure that the team back in Switzerland is going to love to hear that too, because we just released that a few weeks ago, right? And it's still kind of in its beta stage. But this week we've had our second release now, so I'm curious to get your feedback. I'm glad that you're already using it, but it's really the next big thing. Like this agent that's in there is going to be able to just do what you said already, like pull any reports. The whole idea originally is get your data from the field. We weren't getting enough data collected because it was hard. It was writing things down. It was on phone calls. It was in emails. Like you had to collect the data first. So that's what we focused on. Now that you've got the data in there, how do you get it out the easiest way possible? And if you have an agent that you can just start asking questions to, and it's only looking at your data, that's extremely powerful. So let me just share the screen again.
And
Sorry,
in one of our daily field reports, we have a column that you helped us generate that says impact or issues on the job. And if one of my superintendents indicates that we're delayed in our schedule due to anything, whether it's weather, material acquisition, or just simply labor reduction, AI will tell me. I can see that in the report and ask, did it note that there was any issues on the daily field report? And it'll bring it up for me.
So what Steve's talking about right now is, again, you can click on this, and this is our agent. We call it Ben, short for Benetics. So Ben is our agent, and there's some standard questions in there. But you're saying, Steve, you've gone in here and started to really type in some more in-depth prompts for it?
Yes. I'll ask on the daily field report on this project from yesterday, were there any delay issues on the job?
Okay.
Or I can actually see the report, but sometimes I'll say, check all reports from yesterday's projects and tell me if there were any delays.
And what's the success rate so far? I'm curious.
About 85%.
Okay. All right. But it's a starting point. And like I said to everyone else, like this has just gotten started. So this is going to be an extremely powerful tool that I think people absolutely love, because now you can do exactly that. You can take, you guys had a door project early on when we started working together, and you had like 250 doors, and you had to create a task for every one because you needed a quality assurance that these doors are all proper and they were all labeled, and took pictures of every one. And you had to create those tasks one at a time. Where this is going now, you can get basically a contract that says, look, we're doing 250 doors. And it would be smart enough just to say, hey, create my tasks from this document, from the contract. And you've got 250 tasks that are created that you don't have to sit and spend time, marking up, or then your team is just out there adding their photos as they're doing it live.
As I've seen the AI agent progress, I can see the long-term benefit. I'm starting to, just to your point, it's in beta stage right now, but I'm starting to see the benefit. At any one point on all of our projects, I'll have, I would say, 100 tasks assigned to different projects, to different people throughout our organization. And for me to monitor those tasks to ensure that they're done and complete, you have a nice feature on there that allows them to be marked complete. It notifies me that the task that was assigned is done. And there's also one feature that I like in Ben, the AI agent, that I can ask, are there any tasks that are overdue that were not complete? And it will print me out a report of all the overdue tasks that weren't done. So instead of me going through every job every day and looking at tasks that might or might not have been completed, it can tell me tasks that are overdue, and I can then follow up on those specific tasks. And that right there is hours in my day that are saved.
Okay. That's encouraging. That's awesome to hear. So yeah, that's only going to get better. And you guys have had a lot of suggestions, and I know we're always trying to work on your suggestions specifically, along with 400 plus others. But being that you're here in Michigan, and it's something that we really appreciate you taking the time to do this today as well. And we'll keep trying to get those suggestions that you have in there. And it is moving into more of a GC tool, not more of, but it's accommodating the GC side of things. And I know there's just a few more things that you want to see to get there, but that agent, I think, has been kind of it's hit a few of your buckets with one tool, because it was reporting based, and be able to just look at status and where are we at, and talking about staying organized. That's really what it's about.
Yeah. And Jason, our partnership's been great to everybody who's listening. I'll tell you, your response, your support from a software perspective, we don't feel just like another number. You're accessible, and those recommendations that we've asked for. I know you're not just, we've tried to customize a software, by the way. That was another one. We actually tried to hire a software company to customize something for us. So we understand you're not customizing it specifically for us, but you are taking our feedback, and your team behind the scenes has been applying updates and changes over the last 6 months that has been greatly beneficial. And I think you might attest to this, that if you see something that we suggest that can be applied on a broader scale to all of your clients, you guys are really reactive in that sense.
Well, I appreciate that. That means a lot, and you guys have been very good to work with as well. So yeah, we're gonna keep doing that, right? Like, that's, to me, it's 17 people over there, and I've got a little time difference, obviously, being here, but they're really good, and that's part of the reason that I wanted to be a part of this. When I moved, I was in Switzerland for 4 years, and when I moved back, I was happy to be a part of what was just starting out over there, because I knew the team was really strong. So yeah, keep the suggestions coming. That's the only way this thing keeps getting better and better. But that agent you mentioned is kind of the next big thing. What about documents? So we kind of skipped over the documents section. Let me just show it here for everybody that's watching.
Yeah, again, we used to have file folders and shared drives and databases, but to be able to upload every document for the individual project right into that documents upload, organizes every file. You can label them you can name them. It has a renaming feature in there. You can label them as well. And Jason, I know you'll share about that, but we put every document for every project: the contract, the scope of work, the RFI, RFPs, request for proposals, subcontracts, plans get uploaded into there. I mean, we upload into the plan section, but invoices, all documents are centralized in one location for that project. And I'll tell you,
it's easy.
It's
easy to get
and they can access them from the field, which again is instead of like logging in or having to go something, they're just easily available right there in the app to say, hey, what was this contract? What do we got to work on?
That's right.
I hope I'm not alone in saying this, but we've all experienced our field staff will call us, and sometimes I get a phone call saying, I don't even know the scope of the job today.
Sure.
And as embarrassing as that sounds, I hope I'm not alone in that. And it's like, wow, how did we not get you the scope? In this situation, the scope is in the project, available at the tip of their fingers. And even if we didn't communicate effectively from the beginning like we should have, they can always access that information.
Okay. Yeah, I hear some people work off of those sometimes exclusively. I'm like, well, what about the communication back and forth after you're actually out there doing the work? They're like, well, we just do it to whatever the scope or whatever the contract said, and that's kind of our Bible. And they're like, well, I don't think we need a tool necessarily like you guys are doing. I'm like, what about the rest of the communication? And that they usually come around, but and then the photos have been revamped a little bit. I think this was one of your suggestions as well. Is like, let's see a whole repository, and then now you can download them right from here if you do need to take them anywhere else. And so the other thing here is you can click on any one of the photos and be like, where did this come from? And it has a link right back to the actual task where it was created. So time and date stamped. It's kind of a CYA tool, right? Photos are huge, especially, here in the States where we do step on each other's toes and you end up in different delay claims or other issues. This has been a big time saver and possibly a litigation type saver for some companies.
Well, the photos tell the story, and it goes in both directions too. It creates, we can upload from the Benetics app back to our computers if we need to in the office, and you can download. It goes in both directions. I can take photos off of Benetics that my guys did in the field if I need to, And it also has video capacity too, or capability.
We
Which is
did just
also,
add video. Yep, that was on the last release. And like I said, you're going to keep seeing more and more of that type of stuff. Anything else we've missed that you feel is really important? We got just a few minutes left. If there's any other questions, please feel free to shoot them in the chat, especially if it's for Steve and Corey. We're not going to get this opportunity all the time. Hopefully we'll do another one of these once business, we move into the winter months or something. But
while we're waiting for a question, I would say the site, the map, the pins on your plans. If you upload a plan, you can drop a pin anywhere on that plan and put assign a task to it.
Yeah,
that's been beneficial for us. Instead of saying, go up to the second floor, go to the third room on the left, it's the outlet that's behind the couch, right? I mean, that's what we're trying to explain. That outlet's been, that GFI popped and it's on the punch list, and it's in the third bathroom on the third floor. We drop a pin right on the site plan and then assign a task to our electrician or whatever task it might be. Take a photo, assign the task, and drop the pin right on the plan. They know exactly where it is. They can mark it. They can identify it, fix it,
put their picture
in that it's complete, mark the task complete, and it comes right back to the office.
That's, I've said to others, like I use that here. You just, even at my home, I have my blueprints, and anytime I have upgrades and updates to my house, I put a pin where it's at, and then I put the warranty, what I purchased, it's, new roof, new siding, new whatever. And you've got something, this lives with the building, right? So if you guys go back to a project 6 months later, a year later, you have the history of everything and what took place. And I think that's a big difference between some of the other tools that are out there that are very project and then move on. This thing lives with the building. So you still have that history in there as well.
Yeah, and I'd like to clarify too. We talk about site plans. It could be a hand drawing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I do that too. I draw out a floor plan just on pencil with a pencil, and we'll upload that. It recognizes that as a plan.
Yeah,
and then I can still use the pins and the tasks to assign on that hand drawing as well. So
awesome. Well, there is more there. If anybody has more questions, you can shoot them over to me in the future. Let me just put kind of a little call to action up here. I don't know if this thing even works. It's my first time using this, but you can get out to our website, and you can always schedule something directly with me. We did have one more kind of statement come through here as well. This is actually from our head of marketing over there. Not a question, just a big thank you. We truly appreciate the partnership with EJH and the trust you placed in Benetics. It's great to hear how the platform's supporting your team, and we're grateful that you're willing to share your experience so openly with others. And I second that a ton. Appreciate you guys being here today. I know we didn't jump into your reports and show any of that, but I think that's okay. You did a great job articulating it. And I'm sure if somebody's local and you want to, do more, I'm always here, but these guys have been great to work with. And I'm sure we could go to their office. I've been to their office a couple of times and walk anybody else through that. I know Steve's speak to your subs maybe a little bit. Do you see your subcontractors moving to something like Benetics, or is this a plan?
Yeah. So what happens is you never think you have the time to do it. And what I would encourage you to do is you don't have the time not to.
Yeah.
It's a life-changing, time-altering. The training is simple. The implementation is simple, and it's very user-friendly. So what I found when I talk to the guys, my subcontractors, they see me using it and they're baffled. Like, Steve, you got to tell me more about that. And Jason, I've given you some referrals. Their biggest obstacle is I don't have the time to implement it into my team. The training is too tedious. I'm too busy running around to learn a new software program. Believe me, we've had that challenge. We've said that to each other. We've been there. Dive in.
Just do it.
It's easy.
Seriously.
It's simple. And you'll find as soon as you make your field staff and your team, you make their life easier, they naturally get engaged because they see it's easier than filling out paperwork.
Yeah.
It's easier than tracking down photos. It's easier than trying to flip through file folders to find the scope of work. It's so simple.
It's just easy to implement. We did not struggle. Once we started, it was easy. We would not be sitting here if it wasn't because we dropped all those other programs because we didn't have the time to do it.
Yeah, that's what I want to get at. That's the message I need to get out to the market here and to ABC specifically, because a lot of them are doing smaller projects. People often think, oh, that looks like big software and we're so small, right?
No.
And you guys are a GC. You aren't super small. You're doing very large projects, but this thing can be used for small teams, right?
Simple.
The same, yes,
Yeah,
100%.
again, yeah, we manage it for very small,
Yes.
1-2 person operation. One of my best friends is a flooring installer. He's one man in a truck, and he absolutely sees the benefit and is excited to, Jason, he'll be partnering up with you. And the last thing I would say too is cost benefit. We've spent a lot of money on
Yes.
software programs that didn't serve us as well, that were far more expensive. I mean, I think we spent more money on manila folders, for our file folders, and getting rid of those than we do in your monthly charges.
Yep.
So,
Sure.
not trying to say increase the prices.
I know.
We
But
did
I'm
have
saying-
we did have a small bump up in June, but it's $300. Just so everybody knows, it's $300 a year per user. So it's very
worth it.
reasonable.
Yeah, we have saved time and money. Like I said, I think we save more money not using file folders. So
I love it, guys. Appreciate it. We'll stay in touch. Keep suggestions coming. We'll keep making this thing.
yeah,
Do
and
what it
good
needs
luck
to
to
do.
everybody listening. Good luck, and wish you the best with your process of this, getting on Benetics.
Awesome. Thanks, Corey. Thanks, Steve. Have a good one.
Thank you.